Welcome to the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise podcast with global sales trainer and professional speaker, Lois Kofi. Each week, it is her goal to share inspiration and education for you to be, do, have the best health and wealth and wisdom for your life.
Well, all right. And happy Friday, guys. Happy December. Oh my gosh, I'm Coach Lois, your host of the Healthy and Wealthy and Wise podcast show. And it feels weird. I feel like I've missed you guys for a month, but it's only been 2 weeks since my last podcast. I did take some time off for Thanksgiving and just kind of going into hibernation mode. However, we're back and we have an amazing interview today with Lynda Sunshine West, and we have some really powerful inspirational messages this month. So stay tuned or go to my website at healthyandwealthyandwise.com to learn about all of our amazing transformational guests who are here to help you, the business owner, entrepreneur, to live your best life, be your best version of yourself, having your best health, your best wealth, and your best wisdom. So Lynda, you've been here a few times. I know I've had you at least twice. You were a part of my my launch. You've been a part of my community. Everyone who knows you loves you. So I'm so excited to have you back because 2021 was kind of a big year for you. And I'm excited that now I was a part of this, that you launched this award-winning, international best-selling, The Fearless Entrepreneurs, and you're the founder and CEO of Women Action Takers Publishing. So that's new since we last talked. So you got to update us, for those who don't know you very well, maybe share a little bit about your background and just even what you're up to these days.
Hi, Lois. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm always blessed to be around you and your presence. I met Lois at a networking event probably about 2.5 years ago or so in person before COVID, and just loved your personality and love what you're all about. The confidence that you exude, rubs off on others. So if you get a chance to hang out with Lois, please do so, because that will be a great time for you for sure. And for Lois too, of course. But who am I? What am I all about? It's been an interesting year. Like you said, 2021 has really been a great growth year for me. I started my entrepreneurial journey back in the end of 2014, like December of 2014. And I've spent the last 7 years just kind of like flailing around and like, what am I going to do? How am I going to make any money? And it really took me a while to hone in on that. And I don't want to say it took a long time, because for somebody else, it could be 10, 15 years, so my 7 years might be nothing compared to theirs. But it was definitely a journey of learning, who I am, what I'm all about, and how I serve others. And, the Action Takers Publishing officially launched only 2 months ago. And, I've been doing the publishing thing for about 3.5 years now and love it, but never thought of it as a business. Which, because I had imposter syndrome, right? Like, well, there's all these other companies out there like Hay House and all these big names out there, and I could never compete with them. And then realize that that's my imposter syndrome getting in the way, and that I need to just step back and say, you know what? I don't have to be as big as them, at least not to start. I just got to start to start.
Oh, I've said this many times. I think you know that one of my favorite quotes from Zig Ziglar is, you don't have to be great to start. However, you do got to start to become great. And you've done so much to be where you are in the 2.5 years that I've known you. I'm just like so proud of you and so honored to be a part of your universe. And what was it like because you've had multiple bestsellers, right?
And it's the first one was, I was in somebody else's book, and that was a New York Times best-selling book. And it's kind of funny because when I joined that book, it's called Footsteps of the Fearless. And the reason it's called Footsteps of the Fearless is because you're taking people through a journey of fear and stepping through it. And at that time, I was facing a fear every single day, which I wrote a book called The Year of Fears. We're going to give away a free copy of that today. But the Year of Fears was about me breaking through a fear every single day for a year in 2015. Well, one of those fears that I had that was tremendous was putting my words on paper. And so when this opportunity came for me to be part of a collaboration book, I said, yes, I'm in. I raised my hand and I'm like, I'm in. And when we got that book published, I was scared to share it. So here I was talking about footsteps of the fearless, but I was scared to share because the
Hmm.
first time my words were in a book, not just on Facebook, not just on LinkedIn, but in an actual book. And it was really awesome though. Great experience.
I think that's so cool because I think a lot of us have this creative something inside of us and we get so busy going through the motions. I know my husband, a great example, he just started painting this year and he's an engineer, used to working numbers and spreadsheets and all of the things.
Uh-huh.
And he finally just started painting and oh my gosh, 6 months later, he's just like channeling Michelangelo. He's doing it every day. He's a completely different person. And I was so inspired by that. I'm actually going to start writing again. And maybe you can talk about how, and you hear this, they say journal every day because it's cathartic, it's healing. But there's a lot of people out there, Lynda, that are scared to share their story. They're scared to start because of what it might do to change them.
Yeah.
However, what was your experience? How did it change you going through that process?
First, I want to address your husband, going through this change. And what's interesting is I believe that, sometimes at a young age, we're stuck in a box, right? So he was stuck in the engineering box, in the spreadsheet box, right? And he didn't explore outside of that box because that was the box he was told he belonged in. And that's just I'm just like making this up because I don't know the story. But, oftentimes we're put in that box. I was a legal secretary for 20 years and I was stuck in that box of perfection and all of these different things, and never did I color outside of the lines. I was not a color outside of the line kind of person until 51. At age 51, I ended up hiring a life coach, and she helped me to see that I have creativity inside of me because
Hmm.
I always said my whole life, Lois, I said I am not creative. I am not creative. And people who look at me now, they're like, yes, you are. And but I never explored it because that wasn't who I was. That who
Hmm.
wasn't who I was supposed to be. And that was what I believed. And so it's interesting, once I started this journey of writing stories, writing my own story, putting it on paper and putting it out there. When I wrote The Year of Fears, which was in 2016, and I published that book out there. I didn't publicize it much because again, it was my story, and who wants to read my story, No, but and this
Hmm.
woman, I was attending an event. There were about 300 people there, and this woman comes running across from the other side of the room, yelling out my name, Lynda Sunshine, Lynda Sunshine. She's like, I got your book. I read the first 14 pages, and I already broke through 5 fears. It was in that moment that I realized the power of our story. Story that I didn't think would have any value, wouldn't impact anybody who would read my story, did have an impact. If I've only impacted that one person's life, definitely the ripple effect from her to her children and that,
Hmm.
that will help other people. And so our stories have a lot of power. And,
Hmm.
it's time for us to start sharing them and putting them on paper and pushing it out there.
Yeah, we'll get to the publishing company in a second because I want to talk about that and all the exciting stuff you have coming up. But the pandemic shocked me, just broke me. I was
Yes.
so devastated and having to start all over. And it was, where do you begin? I just began at the beginning. I shared my story. I was authentic with people with my podcast. And sometimes people might think, well, you're oversharing. But what I discovered was the more I shared, the more people connected to me because of my vulnerability, because of me being authentic. And I think a book and your experience, what you talked about, I really want to edify this and make sure people understand. You took a day, I mean, every day, you took a fear every day and you did something that scared you. Again, Eleanor Roosevelt quote, do one thing every day that scares you, and it transformed you at 51. I mean, some people might say, midlife crisis, my life is over, I've heard it. But you went for it and you took action. Women action takers, publishing. So many people, they see fear, they see change, and it's too scary, so that's why they also stay in that box. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Fear is debilitating and it'll stop us from living our lives. And that was one thing by facing a fear every single day, breaking through it, I got accustomed to fear and breaking through it. And what's cool is that now I do things because I'm scared, because I realized after a whole year of doing it every single day, the results I got on the other side of fear were always something good. Whether it was a failure or not, I
Mm,
learned from it, I grew from it, and I became a stronger person from it. So if that's the result I'm going to get every time I break through fear, why am I not breaking through fears, So I break through fears because I'm scared. And there was something you mentioned about, sharing your story, oversharing, people have their own opinions about what oversharing is, but if our oversharing can help somebody to change their lives, then
mm,
if we're willing to do it, I really think we have to do it. It's our job and duty to do it. But I came up with the saying, again, in 2015 is when I faced that fear every single day, a different fear every day. And I
okay.
came up with this saying because I realized that it was in my vulnerability, me sharing myself with the world from these very vulnerable states, that it was through my vulnerability is where I made my greatest connections with people, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
And I came up with a saying, and that is to be brave and share your weaknesses. For in your weaknesses, others see your strengths. Because it's
Mm,
through your vulnerable moments that can seem or feel weak. Yet other people on the other side, when they see you share those weak times in your life, they're like, whoa, you're so brave to share that. So really it's brave to be
mm,
vulnerable. And it's
mm.
really, really awesome, and life changing for others and as well as yourself, because you will grow through that. You will grow. And I believe that when we share our stories, especially from a deep place, that's when we make our greatest healing.
Hmm. Yeah, because people are we're born to be connected and we're born to have community, and that's what brings us together is understanding that we're not alone.
Yeah.
We're not alone in this sometimes seemingly big bad world. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Elizabeth. She's in Southern California desert. She's my jewelry, amazing jewelry maker. Just want to
Nice.
give a shout out. And she actually said, where is it? Oh, she's currently writing a book. So I want to share that she's writing a book. And Lynda, I don't think I told you this month, I'm going to take a bunch of time off so that I can create space and time to start writing my next book. So,
Awesome.
so tell us, how does someone, go about, maybe if you have any quick tips on, because we only have so much time, about starting to write a book, and then how do they get to that publishing point? So take it away.
Okay, well, first about, writing the book, what do you want to write about and why? It's really to think about why. What do you want to get out of it? Lois and I are really big on setting an intention, right? Before you go into any project, like set an intention, know what you want to get out of it. And if it's that you want to sell it and make a lot of money, then you got to find somebody who's going to be able to help you to get to that point. And I know Lois helps people, set up systems and these things that, can help you to get to that point. But you got to know what you want out of it. If you're doing it just because you want to share your story, awesome, go do it. Awesome, go do it, right? If you're doing it for a business reason, again, know what it is that you want out of that. There's so many different things I couldn't even possibly cover any of them right now because there's so many different reasons why people write a book. But I will share this that a book is the absolute best business card you could ever have. Why? Because if you think about, first of all, exchanging business cards today, we don't really get out much, in person. But even if you do and you get out in person, you exchange business cards, or let's say you put somebody into your contacts in your phone, that's it. Like you forget about them because,
Mhm.
well, the business cards, I don't know about you, but I had a bag of I counted them. There were like 1,500 business cards in my bag, not even in my contact database, not even there. But a book, when somebody has your book, they will read it, first of all. So they're tactilely taking, contacting you because they're reading through your book. And then they'll put it on their shelf or they will put it on a desk, maybe they'll put it on, on a desk or on a bench or whatever. I don't know. I don't know why
Mhm.
I said bench, but or they may give it to somebody else. So now
Yeah.
your book is traveling around. It's not being thrown in a garbage can. It's not being put in a little bag, but it's out there. And your story will change people's lives. It really will, as long as you share it out there with the world. So getting to the publishing part, you gotta write your story again, know why you're doing it, what process are you going to go through. I'm in the process right now of writing a book called How to Write and Publish Your Book in 28 Days or Less. And super excited to get that one done. Now I have to block out my 28 days. So that's the first thing, like Lois is doing. She's blocking out time. Got to block out time. I haven't even blocked out my 28 days yet to write my 28-day book. So I got to do that. I have the idea in my head, right? So, but
Mm-hmm.
to get it onto paper means I need to structure my days in a way that I can actually write. Otherwise, it's never going to get written. So, really creating that process. And then when you're ready to get to the publishing part, you got to think about, I need a book cover designed. Where am I going to get it designed? Is it going to look good? You want to make sure you use good quality, that people, when they see it, they're like, whoa, I got to look further. I got to look further. And then getting the formatting of the book done, making sure you get the right people to help you format that book. You can go on Fiverr and find people, but you never know. You might be stabbing in the dark and finding the wrong people. So, and there's formatting formats that must be followed. And I would recommend I'll give you a website, Ingram Spark. It's IngramSpark.com,
Okay.
and go to Ingram Spark, check it out. It talks about all of this stuff, and you can find out how to do it there. They are, instead of publishing on Amazon.com, I recommend going through Ingram Spark to publish if you're going to self-publish, because it will go out to 40,000 retailers, whereas Amazon, it goes out to Amazon. So if you do through Ingram
Oh.
Spark, it goes to Amazon and 40,000 retailers.
Oh,
So, and it's only $45. It's really well worth it. Then you
wow.
need to make sure you get that ISBN number on your book so that you can sell it. And then having the barcode on the back of the book so you can sell it. So there's a lot of little things that you need to make sure that you follow. But we're here to help people if they want to publish their book. We will publish
Mhm.
solo books. We also do collaboration books, like the book Lois mentioned earlier, The Fearless Entrepreneurs. That is a collaboration book with 28 authors in it. And so we do collaboration books. And if you want to put together your own collaboration book, we will do that work for you as well. So that's how we help other people.
I love it. I love it. And of course, guys, if you stay till the end, Lynda has a free gift for you. And then you'll also know how to contact her. I also, since we're just over halfway, I want to remind you guys, this is the time to ask our guest questions. This is why I do this show live. Not many podcasts are live because they just want to have one-way communication. I'm kind of weird. I like a two-way conversation, and not just with my guests, but also with you, my tribe, my community here in Healthy and Wealthy and Wise. So comment below with your questions and hit the share button. There's a lot of people who are starting to reflect on 2021 and thinking, okay, what do I want to do or have different in 2022? That's how, Lynda, full disclosure, I've started slowing down. I'm writing my sales and marketing plan for 2022 and thinking of my new lead generation tools, right? And you already said a book is the best digital or best business card, right? And so now I'm finally, after doing a podcast, email list, all of the things, I'm ready, right? I'm ready to do this thing called create a book and put it out there to the world. So if people are thinking, how long will it take you? Well, you already answered that question, right? 28 days. When you say 28 days, how much time are you allotting per day to write this book?
It depends on what your book is and what your purpose is. So when I wrote The Year of Fears, I wrote it in 7 days using a system that I heard about it, but I modified it for me. So that system is something that helped me to write that book in 28 in 7 days, and then I published it 7 days later. So I actually wrote and
Mm.
published in 14 days, and I thought, I'll give people double. So that's really what I'm doing. And so those 7 days, my writing time, that book is a little less than 100 pages. So that's an
Okay.
important piece. So if you think you break down how many pages do you want your book to have, I will share that in order for you to have, the spine on your book with some words on it, you have to have 100 pages or more. So that's an important piece, right? So if you For example, if you know you want to have that spine, you need to have 100 pages, and you say
Okay.
100 pages divided by 7 days equals this many pages a day. And then how long does it take me to write that many pages a day? So you just have to do the math to figure out how much time you need to spend on that. And then after I wrote it, then I hired a proofreader, editor to go through it. It took them 2 days to edit my book, get that back to me. And then again, I published it, by 7 days. Like I had to get the cover designed and stuff. So really, it's just knowing the system. And I'll share that with your viewers or your listeners, Lois, if you'd like. I think we have time. We had time for that.
Yeah, if you want. I don't see any questions yet. Again, guys, this is your best time to ask Lynda questions because we'll be wrapping up here in 10 minutes. So go, yeah, feel free. Take notes, guys.
Okay, so let's say your topic is healthy, wealthy, and wise, because that's where we are today, right? So we've got three categories. You can maybe write a book called, I'll just use that as an example, a book called Healthy and Wealthy and Wise. And then you could have, that would have like three sections, right? A healthy section, the wealthy section, the wise section. Then you can break each of those sections down, or let's call them parts. The three different parts to this book. Now you break those three different parts down into chapters based on that. So let's say you're like, okay, in the healthy area, I want to have 3 chapters. In the wealthy, 3 chapters. In the wise, 3 chapters. Now you've got 9 chapters. So what does this mean? 100 pages divided by 9 chapters. I need to have 11 pages per chapter. So now we're doing some math here, right? So now we say, I'm going to have 3 chapters, and in each of those 3 chapters, I'm going to have 3 sub-chapters as an example. So now each part, healthy, has 9 sub-chapters, right? Wealthy, 9, and wise, 9. So each of them has 9. Now you've titled all of these sub-chapters. So what I do is here's a thing that's challenging for people when they're writing, coming up with that inspiration to start writing. Now that you've titled your sub-chapters, your subtitles, you can go through in any given day. Like, let's say tomorrow, you're like, oh, man, I really feel like talking about wisdom, because I met somebody really amazing today and they really inspired me to write about wisdom. So go into your wisdom part. You have 9 sub-chapters. Pick one of those sub-chapters and just write. And if you think about that, you've got 9 sub-chapters. That means like a page and a half per sub-chapter in order to get the book done. So it's just a mathematical way to get started. And what I did is I used Google Docs and I used the Google Dictate. So I actually dictated my book, and it translated right there on the page. So it was using my voice in order to become the book instead of me. I don't know about you, but when I type like a legal secretary. I was a legal secretary for 20 years, but I don't talk like a legal secretary. So I just dictated my book, and there it was.
Wow. Wow. Because I didn't even think about that. I don't even know what it means by typing like a legal secretary. Can you explain? What does that mean?
Boring.
Oh. Well, I love that. Thank you for clarifying that, because I thought maybe it just means she's really slow. I don't know. Because
Really fast, but
I
boring.
type really fast, but that's awesome. I love that. I love what you did is exactly what I do even with my sales and marketing plans and my podcast. I reversed engineered what was my end goal, and then you break it down. And thanks, Lynda. You just gave me an idea for a second book with what you just
Good.
shared. So I love you for that. So I'll
Awesome.
have to talk to you about that one too. So we have some questions coming in now. Do you
Okay.
want to continue sharing your system though? Did I interrupt you?
That is the system for getting your book down on paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I love the dictation idea. I think that's a great skill. I mean, YouTube does it for you too. And I've used different things and tools to, even transcribe my podcast. So you guys should be able to find that. My friend Ismael Macho from Puerto Rico, we can't see his face on here, unfortunately, because of the whole StreamYard thing, but he says he has an old magazine and newspaper that is from the 80s. He would like to republish. I don't know exactly what that means, but can you maybe talk about magazine and newspaper publishing? Is that in your wheelhouse?
I don't do magazine and newspaper publishing, just books, but he can turn those can turn those into a book, so depending on like if they're the same theme. So what I would do is I would recommend like going through the newspaper articles and the magazine articles and figuring out what kind of theme are these running through. And maybe not all of them would be republishable, but then go and see if there's a way that you can thread them together to create a book out of it. So that way you have a book to sell. That's what I would recommend.
Awesome. Well, and I will say, I know even starting out with a compilation project with you is very, very, very affordable,
Mhm.
so if even they wanted to do that, that's something to keep in the back of your mind. I do want to talk about budget, but let's go to the questions first. So Elizabeth asked, does this apply to graphic books and or with Oracle cards? Is that an available option? Her book is an oracular style with a set format per chapter and will feature her artwork with an Oracle deck.
That's an interesting question because I don't really know. Like when you're referring to with Oracle cards, I don't really understand the question fully.
So I have Oracle cards right here. I'm just gonna,
Okay.
so just as an example, I'm gonna assume, thanks, Elizabeth. So here's a Oracle card deck. So that goes with a book. So each card,
Oh,
and Elizabeth, please let me know if I'm way off base. So I'm just intuiting this, okay? So each card has a reading or a meaning, and inside of the book, you've got to read it in order to connect the dots with why did you pull this card? This is what the sign is for you today.
okay. So let's see. So when you're asking the question is, does this also apply to graphic books with Oracle cards? I'm not sure if you mean, does the writing of the book apply to that or exactly what the question is?
Yeah, Elizabeth,
Um,
maybe if you can clarify. I hope you're still here. Okay. She says that what I just showed you, Linda, the Oracle card deck comes with a mini book. It's like a little booklet,
mhm.
right? And they usually are over 100 pages, by the way. They're just more like handheld size.
Okay.
But she says her book is more complex. I would say, Elizabeth, talk to Linda
Yeah.
separately, reach out to her as well. I think that would be probably good. Any other thoughts on that, Linda?
Yeah, definitely. Because I don't want to answer a question that's not the question. Because I don't really know exactly what the question is and how that would apply. So let's hop on a call. Yeah. And just, I don't do like sales calls. I'm not going to get on a call and sell at you. I want to hear, what you're doing and how I might be able to help you. And if so, then I'll let you know how I can help for sure, or guide you in the right direction of somebody else that can help.
Here's her other question. She's asking, will it be possible to publish on a regular sized book with Oracle cards? Can Oracle cards be printed via this website? I'm not sure which website, if she's talking about Ingram or again, that might be a really good thing to just connect with Linda. She's inside my Healthy and Wealthy and Wise group, and this is just a little PSA, public service announcement. Most of you who are on this live are inside of my Healthy and Wealthy and Wise community. So is Linda. So are my next three guest speakers this month. So come in. The water is warm. A lot of like-minded health experts, wealth experts, and wisdom experts. So just go to healthyandwealthyandwise.com or loiscoffey.com, and you'll be able to find how to find this group on Facebook and join. We also have a shout out. She did clarify it was Ingram. So I think again, if
Yeah,
you have
let's
anything
hop
else,
on a call because yours is very specific, Elizabeth. Because for me to be able to talk about more general is easier. But since yours is very specific and complex, I want to make sure that I can help you the best that I can. So we'll definitely, I'll see this inside of the Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise group, and I'll go ahead and just send you a private message with a link to my calendar. Let's get on a calendar. Let's get on a call and see how I can help you.
awesome. And just want to give a shout out. I'm not going to read your whole message. Joanne Weiland would love to connect with you as well. And she's my friend inside of this space. And I believe she's tuning in on my fan page. You can also watch this from my fan page. I know we're running out of time. Man, this just flies by fast.
Yeah.
You said you had a gift for everyone. Can you share with us what it is again and how they can redeem that gift?
Yes, definitely. Thanks, Lois, for having me. It's been awesome as always. Before I share my free gift, I just want to share with you that we have a goal. The Action Takers Publishing just officially launched 2 months ago, and we're already getting ready to publish our first book. So that's exciting. But we have a goal of publishing 25 books in 2022. that means 2 books a month at least, right? And so I'm really looking forward to seeing what 2022 holds for us. We have a lot of people who are interested in working with us, so I'm super excited about that. What I have to share today is a free copy, free download of my book, The Year of Fears. It's the 7 most important lessons that I learned that will save you time and money. And that book is endorsed by Mr. Les Brown, Mr. Motivational Speaker Les Brown himself. So if you would like a copy of that, just go to theyearoffears.com and download a copy of it today. It's available for you.
Yeah, I'll write that down. I'll put that in the show notes, guys. Both the ingramspark.com and theyearoffears.com will also be in the show notes. So I have one more question for you, Lynda, so don't go away. Just as a reminder for those of you who are just joining us, hit the share button with this powerful message, because I know a lot of people are looking at their health and wealth and wisdom goals, or even their sales generating, lead generating conversation goals, and writing a book. Maybe I'll be 2 of your 25, Lynda. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
I also want to invite you guys really quickly. My last event of the year that isn't podcast related is a free online networking event, December 16th at 3 p.m. Pacific. Actually, Lynda kicked off the year with my online AGC networking event. So I'm going to be the guest speaker. I'm going to be talking about how to get more done in 2022 than the average human, with the 12-week year concepts. Again, it's free. And then you get to network with a bunch of other like-minded people. So I will be live streaming that inside of this group. But if you want to be a part of the networking component, you got to register. So shoot me a message if you want that information. I'll also put that information in the show notes so you know how to register. So you can meet people from all over the world and possibly find a business partner, find a client, find a referral partner, find a new friend, and grow your network. Because I know that's how Lynda and I met in person back in the day. And here we are still 2.5 years later, helping each other with quality referrals, introductions, and of course, just good old fashioned fun. So as we close this out, my last question to all my guests, and I don't know if you remember this question, Lynda, and if maybe you're a different person now, right? Because this is how many months later, but I always close with the same question. When you hear the phrase healthy and wealthy and wise, Lynda, what does it mean for you?
Well, I really look more right now, especially at the wise part, because I'm not the healthiest I've been ever. And then the wealthy part, what I love about that is that wealth comes in many different ways, and everybody has their own definition of wealth. And for me, I am one of the most wealthy people on the planet because I finally learned who I am. And then stepping up as myself, and you talked about the authenticity. And so living my life authentically is very important to me. And that's what I think about when I think about healthy, wealthy, and wise.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. And just to encourage you and everyone, it's not about arriving at your best health and your best wealth and your best wisdom and being perfect, right? We are all on a journey in this together and supporting in one another through this thing called life. So please invite your friends and connections and family and colleagues and clients to join this community, Healthy and Wealthy and Wise, so that they can not only hear this episode, but future episodes. Next week, I'm actually really excited. We have my newfound friend. I call him my newfound pandemic friend, Mary Jenkins. She's a 2-time cancer survivor, and she's got an amazing passion for helping women live their best life. So tune in next Friday, same time, same channel. Invite all your friends who are looking for, encouragement. There's a lot of people struggling with health challenges right now. And so when you can never hear a story about overcoming cancer, and she's got a very, very, very vulnerable, powerful message to share with us. You could really change someone's life just with that one message, that one story like Lynda was talking about today. So thanks, guys, for tuning in, tuning out. Hit the share button. And again, until next time, here's to your best health, your best wealth, and your best wisdom. Bye-bye for now. Thanks, Lynda. Hey, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, refer a friend, and please drop me a rating or a review. If you do that, I'll reward you with a free 20-minute free coaching session on crafting your journey to your best self. Reach out to me at lois@loiscoffee.com to claim your 20-minute slot. Until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.